Shoved down to the turf as well. It's a little slow to get up as Ward takes one off the mask from Rabel. Dane Smith on the run, the bouncing shot scooped up by Ward, still available. They need 4 and they need him quickly. For Carl, the pass, the shot from O'Keefe, kicked away by Ward. Kicks it nearly out to midfield. Who's there? Water Dogs get the ball.
Net. And you look at this offseason, Coach Copeland tried to address that problem, and he seemingly did so when he traded for all-world goalie Dillon Ward. Simply put, he just hasn't played well this season. He's last in save percentage when it comes to starting goaltenders, and he's given up the most amount of two-pointers out of any of those players as well. So he needs to play better, and pardon the pun, but he's going to be on a short leash tonight.
Through the slide, gets away, threw it to the inside, and that one bounced towards the cage, and it's picked up by Dillon Ward. Today's sports betting lines are powered by DraftKings Sportsbook. That's a two-pointer from Eli Gobrecht.
Let's start on the defensive end. You can see a little force inside. Ward gets it out quickly to Gobrecht, and nobody stops ball. And you can see Gobrecht say, okay.
With the shot clock at 8, a long way away from the goal, found an open Rabel, and it went through Ward but jumped over top of the net.
Left side of your screen here on the progressive game flow. You nailed it, partner.
And 3 ground balls. Lyle Thompson with the feed that hit the post. Thompson drew the double team, tried to throw a pass. It hit Napoli, came back to him. Thompson a long way from the cage. Sharp angled shot stopped by Ward. He couldn't get the rebound, though, over near the sideline. The league lead, which is Michael Rexroad for Atlas.
Yeah, he's the only short stick in that top 10.
Thompson another shot, Ward another save.
Never gives up on the play.
I think so. Okay. 5th save and most impressive, and there's a big stop for Water Dogs goaltender Dillon Ward.
Wait!
You can just feel the difference with Dillon Ward tonight. Obviously, the entire game has been tilted to the Water Dogs offensively play unit.
Yep.
And the other adjustment that they could make is they don't really have an inside presence, and that's a spot that you...
What's happening here is Paul Rabel looking to change that. That shot was blocked. Speaking of high arc, Dillon Ward was outside the crease to challenge that Rabel shot that never made it to him.
He's the only guy.
Rabel from 2, right at Dillon Ward. With 4 today, as that pass hauled in, what a stop! Dillon Ward makes the save on Shane Jackson.
That's the all-world Dillon Ward. That's who they traded for.
He has gotten a chance to settle into this game. He has made 9 saves.
Here comes Whipsnakes, and Dillon Ward answers as well. Dillon Ward, of course, a slow start, but head coach Andy Copeland said he's glad they stuck with him.
Yeah, they gave him a pretty long leash. I mean, he was a major offseason acquisition to shore up that goalie position. In Minneapolis, we finally saw the all-world version of Dillon Ward.
Double teamed, feet up top, it's Chanenchuk for 2. Ward saves it, ball loose in front of the crease. And Dillon Ward keeps this game scoreless. Here's Abbott, bounces one. Ward stops it. Time running out in this first quarter. It's Ryan Brown. I believe I saw an official put up the tip sign.
Gotcha, okay.
So that looks like the call. Cut unsuccessful thanks to another save by Ward.
Left side of your screen in the progressive game flow. Ward staying big, using that big frame of his.
Here's Kirst. Plenty of purple on the other side. Ward gets out. Rebound stays with whips.
And he was way out on his line, a super high arc. He was kind of outside the crease on that. And what that does to a shooter is it really decreases the angle and how much net you can see when you're shooting.
Brad Smith. Coach Stagnito wants him to be the alpha for Whip Snakes here today. Here's an opportunity, but Ward's there once again. Offensive chance, no!
Don't tell that to Ben Rubior.
Just shows the different coaching approaches you have throughout. Ward once again. Ryan, he's looking really good.
He's sharp. This is the guy that they traded for. This is the guy they expected all season long. Left side of your screen on the progressive game flow. Inside, 2 spectacular saves in tight. And then from the perimeter, low angle, holds his pipe. There, watch Earhart in transition.
Here's Earhart, winds up for 2! Bounces in front, Ward's there, and Gobrek looks to clear. Chanenchuk goes for 2. Ward remains locked in.
Yeah, and that was a pure stick save. I don't think he even stepped to the ball.
A lot more weight on their shoulders with the absence of some players. That one hits the pipe. Already clinched a berth in the playoffs. Williams went from point blank, but Ward settles in. As a pick goes for 2. Dillon Ward. How do you do?
That was exactly it.
Whip Snakes love to shoot the ball. They lead PLL in shots. As Lanian, right side angle, no! Ward once again, a brick wall in the cage.
A lot of wing play, but
And when Dillon Ward's making saves like that, it really takes pressure off the power play. In desperate need of a goal. But there he is again. Dillon Ward stepping up to the occasion.
and stepping out. You see that low angle shot. So when Dillon Ward plays that high arc, he just eliminates all the net that you potentially could see, cuts down on that shooting angle even more.
5 minutes to go. Whips down by 5. Another save by Ward. Ball still loose in front of the crease. And the Canadian comes up big once again.
And that was a huge save.
Under a minute to go. Whips need a miracle. Can't have a miracle when Dillon Ward is playing like he has today. A superb performance. 76% saved. Season high 19 saves.
You think back to Minneapolis when he was at 60% or greater, didn't see a lot of rubber. Totally different story today. As you mentioned, 19 saves. I think that's combined what he had in that doubleheader weekend just in this lone game. This is the guy that they envisioned when they made that huge offseason acquisition. And you look at that move, or his performance rather, in concert with the move to Burns down to close defense, and they're sitting at their third straight game where they've held their opposition really in check. I mean, 6 goals. It's remarkable. He was spectacular. 19 saves, 76%. He was sharp early. Inside, stayed big. A lot of these low angle shots you can see right there. He's all the way out on the crease. Here it is again. That super high arc on those low angle shots eliminates any sort of net, cuts down their angle even more. He saved them from the outside. He saved them from the inside.
Something also changed for Dillon Ward after getting pulled in week 4. He has been lights out since then.
Yeah, and the Minneapolis weekend was really the breaking point for Coach Copeland. It's like, look, you've got to be the all-world guy that I traded for, and he did just that. He's been on fire lately.
He has not allowed more than 6 points in a game in his last 3 starts. His save percentage has been better than 60% in all 3 of those games. You mentioned when he made that first save how important it can be to kind of settle you in. That right there was the first save for Dillon with this young core that has been built for Atlas, and it's Aiken that's denied by the right foot of Dillon Ward.
They got numbers here in transition. Let's start with the save by Dillon Ward. Teat finds Dox Aiken, catches it low, tries to sneak one by. Ward's all over that.
Witcher and DiNapoli. Another stop for Dillon Ward, who's starting to heat up, and from his knees makes an outlet pass in the direction of Scarpella. Led to Atlas moving to offense away from Tucker Durkin, and Van Rapport's shot was stopped by Ward. He went down between his legs, maybe reached behind him a little bit to get that one.
That one felt like it was kind of creeping in there.
12 games during the 2019 regular season as this Baptiste shot is stopped by Ward. He wasn't talking about dinner?
No.
Here's Teat, right around the crease, stuffed by Ward. And he landed in the crease, so a violation and the ball back to Water Dogs. All of that clean, and a save made at the end by Dillon Ward, and that will end quarter number 3. Despite their offensive talents, Caraway stopped by Ward, didn't know where it wound up, but it jumped over top of the net. Fresh shot. 2 goals in this game, opens up Picaro, then Caraway, fought off by Dillon Ward.
You can see, just judging by the shadows, Dillon Ward is definitely dealing with some sun.
The feed inside, the save from Ward on Cockerton.
Take another look at this last save by Ward. As he's trying to secure the ball, they were able to dislodge.
More involved in this Whipsnakes offense today than we've seen him in his previous few games since the trade. Michael Earhart wound one up from deep, and down to get it was Dillon Ward, and then the second try goes over top of the, just clearing a path. It was a clean look, and Phipps made the save. There's a stop from Dillon Ward, got it off the head of his stick. Williams stops, looks, and that jump shot handled by Ward just before the expiration of the shot clock.
And good job.
9 saves for Phipps in the game, and that's 3 at least that have been in tight, point blank, great chances that he has denied. Dillon Ward makes save number 8 for him. Continues. Out for Abbott, and that one was found by Dillon Ward and then handed to him.